Hey everybody, so just a quick intro to this video. We are currently in an Airbnb and a nice little rustic cabin cottage thing. We had some business this week down in Missoula and a couple hours south of us. And so we decided to extend it a few days and spend some time thrifting on our way down, and then also just hitting a couple of the thrift stores here in Missoula. Some of the thrifting was like small town, little town thrift stores. And then some of it was like, there's a Goodwill here in Missoula, crazy busy, full of people, lots of stuff, fortunately too. But just packed. Every time I go to that Goodwill, it's full of people. Much more than what I'm used to up in my neck of the woods. But anyway, so I will, in this video, probably share, some of the things that we found on that thrifting trip. Our Wi-Fi here is not great. So by the time you see this, we'll be back home again. I'll have to use my Wi-Fi at home. And I'll probably just go ahead and share the things we found when I get back home again, once everything's unpacked and everything like that. But one thing I can share that we found at Goodwill yesterday, I was just taking a look at these to look them up again. I found these 4 dinner forks in a baggie, and they're just by Cambridge, but obviously the pattern there caught my eye. They're really well made. I think they were sold at Cabela's. I'm not sure. I just saw that in someone's listing. Anyway, just those 4 dinner forks. I'm thinking, if I might be able to get $20 a piece for those. I'm not sure. I think I might list them individually, like one with a quantity of 4. I think I might do that for this particular set, this particular pattern. I'm just going to play around with it, I think. Anyway, we found some other fun stuff. I'll show you, like I said, I'll show you when we get back. I found you can guess, well, maybe it's in the thumbnail. I'm not sure what my thumbnail will be yet, but a 90s icon thrifting find. I know it's been on a lot of people's bucket lists. I'll give you a hint. It was in a TV show. And so anyway, I'll show you that very shortly. But other things I just wanted to mention is because we're away for, it's not quite a week, we closed down most of our shops, and eBay is on time away, but this time we decided to allow people to purchase. We've only had 2 sales. It's okay. We're trying to do some stuff to kind of keep it alive, keep some activity with it. Mr. Pishpash did have some drafts that he went ahead and finished listing yesterday, and I delisted and relisted some stale listings. I'll do a little bit more of that later today. So I'm going to try to get maybe some of the flatware we found. I'll try to get that listed today if there's time. And the hard part is just kind of finding a spot in the little cabin to do my photographs. So we'll see. Maybe there's someplace out on the porch I can just do it. Another thing that I was doing on this trip, just in my downtime or riding in the car or whatever, was just kind of brainstorming some more ideas for videos. I do kind of want to get back into a variety of videos. I know I've just kind of been slamming out doing the what solds mostly lately. So I just want to kind of get back more into a few little research videos and things like that, and kind of get myself back on a better schedule for those things. I have some listing goals as well. My Ruby Lane shop is really neglected, so I need to focus on jewelry and smalls for that shop on Ruby Lane. And I did pick up a little bit more jewelry here, but I do have I have so much at home. Anyway, so I want to get on a regular listing pattern of jewelry on a regular basis as part of my week, as well as some flatware getting listed hopefully daily as well, on top of all the other things that we end up listing. So anyway, those are just kind of my goals, my few little things I thought I'd share with you. And I have the cabin to myself for a few hours. The boys are out doing some stuff. And so I was just thinking about this and figured I'd just film the intro, finish up the video when we get home. Okay, so I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna go try to get a few things done, and I will see you back at home and share some of the fun things we found. Okay, everybody, I am back home again, finally, and I am ready to show you the rest of the stuff that we picked up on our little road trip. Like I said, we had gone down to Missoula for something else entirely, which took up a few of the days that we were down there, but then on the way down, we were able to hit a few thrift stores. So I would say, I don't know, we didn't have a lot of room in the car, so we had brought some stuff for the boys, you know, like their skateboards and their disc golf stuff and everything like that. And so a lot of times I'm used to on these thrifting road trips, we take Mr. Pish Posh's truck, and space is not usually an issue, but his truck is out of commission, and we just wanted to take the car anyway, the minivan, the SUV. And so our space was a little more limited with 4 people and their belongings and such. So it was good because, as you know, I don't need to be bringing home truckloads of things. So it helped me kind of just keep to mostly just our little niches that don't take up a lot of space anyway. So like flatware and jewelry and mugs and patterns and things like that. So anyway, let's just get started. I'll start with the patterns. I'm not going to go in order of how I found everything. I'll probably just kind of go in order of category, but one of the thrift stores that I stopped at had patterns for 25 cents. That's always nice to find patterns at that price. So, and I didn't pick up any pattern that was like, oh yay, it's a $40 pattern. It's all just bread and butter. But I got this little Laura Ashley little girl's sailor dress, you know, just a lot of basic McCall's simplicity. Thought that was fun. Mostly 80s and 90s. That's usually what I'm finding. Kind of basic ones like this do pretty well. And then if I find men's patterns, I usually pick them up if they're uncut. I'm usually sticking with uncut for now because I have so many patterns. There's plenty of uncut patterns I find out there. The only cut patterns that I'll take the time to sit there and count the pieces are like really expensive Vogue or super vintage patterns. I will take that time. Anyway, okay, so, and then another thrift store I went to, the patterns were 50 cents, still not that bad. So again, just kind of there was a lot of jackets that had been donated in that little batch. Again, some unisex men's patterns. This is a fun little jacket with Brooke Shields, but it's kind of, you know, you can add that Western look to it. So I thought that would do pretty well. Western patterns always do well for me. I don't pick up a ton of kids patterns, but I picked that one up. And another blazer pattern, like I said, there was a bunch of those. And then just a Vogue basic design dress pattern. So like I said, just bread and butter type stuff for the patterns, which is fine by me because that's what I make my money on in my pattern shop is the bread and butter. Okay, so here's a little footage of finding this plate. This is the type of thing I have vowed not to pick up anymore, but I picked them up anyway. And it's a French plate. I Google Lensed it while I was at the store. I'm going to put up the Google results there, the AI little description. So it's a French plate. It's that famous French pottery company that starts with an S that I can't pronounce. But anyway, it is marked on the back. And when I Google Lensed it, I was like, it's from like the late 1800s. And it was 50 cents and it's not broken or chipped or anything. And it's basically shows this girl, like she has broken china and she's bringing it to the guy who fixes broken china. And there's a cat. So, you know what? I showed Mr. Pish Posh and I said I'm not getting stuff like this anymore. Because I haven't even checked comps. I might even just hang this on my wall. I just think it's cool. Anyway, so he was like, it's 50 cents and it's like 100 years old or more. So you got to get it. Okay. Anyway, he's my enabler. Here's another little ceramic porcelain piece I picked up that I know nothing about. See how teeny tiny it is? And it's so stinking cute. It was 50 cents. I have no idea what it is or who made it, all Google Lens is showing me results in Polish. So it's Polish porcelain something or other, but I think it's cool. So we're gonna see what happens with that. Okay, so the only other probably like breakable besides mugs, which we'll get to in a minute, is some fun stuff from Norway. So the maker of these is Fig Joe Flint. I say Fig Joe Flint because that's how I say it in my head. I don't know how they say it in Norwegian. But anyway, this is what I got. So you can see the little design, a little creamer, and then a little lidded sugar bowl. The pattern Lotte, it's Tori design latte. Anyway, it's hand painted silkscreen. So cute. Anyway, so the story on that one is I paid $6 for the pair. So the story on that one is, so in Missoula, I don't know how many of you viewers are Montanans who have shopped in Missoula, but the underground thrift store is where I found these, and it is connected to the senior center. And so it's underground. It's downstairs below the senior center, and that's where some of those patterns came from that I picked up. I got this because I wasn't meaning to eavesdrop, but the older women who were kind of in their little back room, it's like open, like you can hear them, and they were pricing things, and I heard one of them go, Norway? I've never seen anything made in Norway before. And I was like, Norway? And so I'm like peeking over the little divider, like what are they looking at? And so I see them with these, and I'm like, oh, I know what those are. And so I kind of bided my time. I thought they were going to put them out. I heard them pricing it. I heard them say, oh, you should price it up, you know, a little higher because it's Norway. Like we've never seen it before, so it must be more expensive. And anyway, so I just kind of waited. She put out some other things. Then they got busy with different customers. So finally we were ready to check out. And I said, okay, I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I heard you talk about something from Norway. I'm like, are you ready to put that? Did you put that out yet? And I kind of had to tell her. She's like, oh, I did. And I said, well, actually, no, it's like still back on your table. Anyway, she goes and gets them, shows them to me. And I was like, oh, those are cool. And I said, oh, did you price them yet? And she's like, yeah, I was going to put $8 on there. And she's like, but I'll do $6. It was like awesome. And I said, okay, I'll take them for $6. Sorry. Okay, so the phone call cut me off, and I'm not quite sure where it cut me off because I'm not taking the time to go back and check. But anyway, so $6 for these. Did I say that? Did you catch that? And I'm thinking I'll throw up a comp. I'm thinking comps like, you know, $35. These used to do better a few years back, and I just don't know if they do as well anymore. Okay, so then one of the other little thrift stores that we stopped at on our drive down, this was one of the smaller thrift stores, we found this mug. So it's just plain black Hot Joe, made in Thailand. So back in the day, Starbucks did collaborations, you know, like they used Hot Joe mugs for some of their mugs before they kind of started doing everything themselves. But this style, if you follow my channel, if we've talked about coffee mugs, travel mugs like this, they're good for desks, they're good for offices, they're good for boats, they're good for all sorts of things where you don't want things to tip over. It does have the lid inside, and I'm pretty sure I saw a comp for this exact one. I will put that up there if I can find it again. Okay, other thing I got at the little underground thrift was this mug. It's the University of Montana, and it's a little dirty, needs to be cleaned, but the reason we grabbed it is because it's a mustache mug. So, quick search, I did not see anything like it online. They didn't have it priced, so I think we paid like $1 for it. We'll see what happens with that one. Okay, so then I think the rest of everything, no, maybe not. One of the little thrifts, Mr. Pish Posh found a couple hats. Here's a Carrera hat. This one. And then somewhere, this might have been Goodwill, actually. He just got, it's a new with tags Titleist hat. And then one of the thrift stores too, it could have been Goodwill. Right as we were leaving, he found this hat. It's Duluth Trading Company. So we got a few hats. Now the hats in Goodwill were pretty pricey. And so I am very appreciative of my local thrift stores. That's one thing about traveling. You either appreciate what you've got back at home or you get insanely jealous of what other people have in their thrift stores. But their hats were like $6, $7. They're just, so far, they're just $2 at my Goodwill. And if I, back in the day when I could get them at the clearance store, they were even cheaper. But mugs that we got at Goodwill, this one actually surprised me. I double check all the Starbucks mugs that I see these days. I had thrown this in my cart. It was $1.99. I threw it in my cart and I was like, oh, I got to remember to check it before we leave. And I was pleasantly surprised that this particular Minnesota Starbucks mug will sell like in the $20, $25 range. So to me, that's worth it. And then I haven't found a Hearthstone mug in a really long time. And I found this one, this winter scene with these birds and everything. I have not done the research on this either. It was Hearthstone pottery. And like I said, I haven't found one in a while, so I'm really not positive how they're performing at the moment. I know certain subject matters are better than others. It does look a little dirty because we used it in our Airbnb. Because the mugs in the Airbnb were great, but they were just a little smaller than we're used to. So we just started using some of the mugs that we had thrifted after washing them, of course. But we just packed in a hurry, and I still have to wash this one again. And then I'm going to have to pause this for a second before I'm going to talk about flatware, and then I'm going to talk about the amazing, the next spoiler you get, the amazing mug find we had. Actually, let me show you this real quick. This was a Mr. Pish Posh find, a transformer. Not sure exactly what he's going to ask for that or how much this is worth, but he usually picks these up and does pretty well with them. I need to find jewelry. I got to think about where I put the jewelry that I purchased at a thrift store. Hold on. Okay, it's a mystery. I can't find the jewelry that I bought at this one thrift store, and I'm hoping that I didn't leave them there. Like, we paid, I was busy like getting my change, and then maybe Mr. Pish Posh thought I grabbed the bag. I mean, it's just a little tiny place, so she would have had to not hand it to us, and then she would have had to like hold on to it on purpose. Like, it would have been so weird. So I have a feeling I took it and I put it someplace, and now I've looked in all kind of the obvious places, and they're not. I have this blank. I remember watching her baggie these things up, and then there's nothing after that. Like, we got back to the car and I don't know what happened after that. So anyway, here's a pair of earrings that I found at a different thrift store. And, oh, they might be marked. That would be awesome. I should stop and find out what they're marked. But aren't they cool? They're little clip-ons, and they're just plastic. So they're like lucite, little lucite cones that dangle. But now I'm seeing a mark, at least on one of them. So I will, I don't know, either put in a picture. I mean, it might just say Japan, something like that. Okay, I found the jewelry. It was so funny. I'm editing the video and I'm like, what about that flatware? I was thinking about some flatware that I picked up at a different thrift store. I was like, there's missing stuff. And so I got thinking about it because Mr. Pish Posh does the packing, right? Like, just like he does the packing and shipping, he does the packing of the car as well. So at one point I said, do you want me to put some stuff in the suitcase? Some of the thrifted stuff. And he was like, no. So I didn't even think to look there. So I all of a sudden I'm more like remembering other flatware. So I texted him and I said, I can't find this flatware either, and the jewelry. And he was like, oh, check the suitcase. He's like, I did put some stuff on my side. I was like, oh, okay. So sure enough, found some bags of stuff. I mean, I'm glad I didn't totally just leave my stuff at a thrift store and like walk out without it, but I also don't have a good memory of what I bought. It was like a week ago. I can't remember back that far. Anyway, one of the thrift stores, I picked up this vintage tie. No marks on it, just can tell it's vintage by the construction. Probably like 30s or 40s for that one, maybe 30s. Anyway, it's kind of cool. So here's a bit of the jewelry. There's even a little bit more than I was first remembering. So this one is probably for me, it's just a little pendant, but with abalone, mother of pearl type thing. It's not super vintage or anything like that, but I love natural stones and stuff in my jewelry. I also picked up, that one was like $3. This is just a little like 80s, 90s brooch. It's a heart, silver heart with puffy hearts hanging off of it. That was $1.25. So then another thrift store, I love these. These are clip-on earrings. And these I know were marked Austria, so that'll be really cool. Those are they're glass, you know. And those, as you can see, were $1. And then also this little comb I picked up with the heart was 50 cents. I just thought that was super cute. There's writing on it, so it could say made in France on there. Then I really like this sweater clip thing. It's a sweater clip, but it's enamel on copper. So that's really cool looking and very modernist. And then speaking of modernist, I found this sterling necklace. Comps are not super high for this. It's a necklace and a brooch. It has both. It has a pin and a bail on it. And here's the design. It's sterling with enamel, a woman holding a dish, and it's made in Israel. So it's made in Israel, 925. I don't know if the chain necessarily is 925. Oh, might be. I'll have to double check that. But it's marked Israel on the bail. Anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. That was $5. And then I think this is a Monet. Is this Monet? A Monet necklace. But these little filigree ball bead necklaces usually do okay. So I was excited about that. So that was the jewelry I found. A couple other things I forgot I had bought. I picked up this belt at one of the thrift stores. It's just a Coldwater Creek belt, but it's in really good shape. It's white. I thought it would be good like for this time of year. I guess it just hooks. Is it just a one size? No, I think you adjust it on the back end. Okay. Then the only like probably real piece of clothing that we picked up that wasn't for personal use was this. This is not the normal thing I usually buy, but it happened to be right in front of me. And so I looked it up. It's a Taylor Swift long sleeve shirt. And it is from the Eras tour. It says Taylor Swift down the arm. Eras tour. So I did look it up, and I did see some comps like in the $60 range. Those came up first for me while I was at Goodwill, and then I came home and I was researching, and some were selling like for $25 or, you know, like that. So I don't know. I have a feeling it's kind of going to be all over the place. But I only paid, it was $5.99. I did have a 20% off coupon at Goodwill, so I'll still make money on it no matter what. We'll see. Then for the flatware that I finally did remember, it's just a bunch of this. It's kind of no name, but it's very cute, like 80s pastel blue. And I think it just says Taiwan. Yeah, stainless Taiwan. But people like this. I've got a bunch of it. People like it for campers and things like that. Their cabins. Anyway, one other place I picked up some, I think this is Reed and Barton. I picked up some forks in a pattern I don't know. I also picked up 6 or 8 of these canoe muffin steak knives. I was excited about that. Another thrift store, just picked up a couple utensils, ladles. This one has a really cute handle, and it's a smaller ladle. And then this is just the classic Foley, but in that good avocado green. I think there was one other thrift store I picked up some flatware. This is Hampton. It's Bistro, but it's Bistro Black. So there's a few pieces of that. Just a few, like, you know, bread and butter type Oneida and things like that I picked up. Okay, so back to wherever I was in the video. Okay, so anyway, I do realize that I missed something else that before I get to flatware, and this was before I get to more of the Goodwill stuff. This was in one of the little tiny thrift stores, and it just cracked me up. And so I thought, they're 25 cents each. I need to get these. So we have how to improve your swimming, your softball, your badminton, your volleyball, your golf, and your bowling, and your basketball, and your baseball. And then there's 4 repeats of some of those. So I just thought, like, I had to get them all, okay? And I just don't know. It's from the Wheaties Sports Federation. Have not done the research on these yet. So I'm still trying to figure out, like, would anyone want the full set, or should I list them like one at a time, right? So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet on those, but I just love the covers. This is what, this is why I bring stuff home, because look at the covers. So awesome. Let's see a year. Let's figure out what year this is. Any guesses? 60s? Oh, how to improve your sports series. They were 50 cents originally. And there is no date on them. Printed in the USA. So I guess I could look up, you know, Wheaties Sports Foundation, stuff like that. But because, you know, this could have been reprinted and used the same cover. So I don't know the exact year. Okay, so over at Goodwill, I picked up this little plastic box. It's going to be hard to see. It's got the Goodwill sticker all over it. But it's marbled plastic, which we usually do pretty good with. It's got a mallard duck on it. And I think it's just a container of some sort. Again, we didn't really open it. We were just like, you know, I don't know, something to hold stuff in, or is it for, probably not a bar of soap, but I don't know, a little trinket box of some kind. The other thing I picked up, which I thought was kind of cool at the Goodwill, was this day timer. I think that's what it was. Yes, day timer. As you can see, as we've talked about in the office supply, no, we've talked about this in the end of the year, New Year's resolution videos. People like to buy old-fashioned planners, right? So I don't think I'm going to wait until New Year's to list this, because we've been selling planners all along. But this one is tapestry, and it's like, looks like a library, looks like a bookshelf. I think someone is going to like that. Okay, so then we kind of went to town on the baggy wall for the flatware and utensils. Mr. Pish Posh was already there before me. He found these Henkel's steak knives. He also grabbed this bag. This is also Henkel's. It's just the meat fork, but it's a really cool modernist kind of looking one. Might have sold something like that before. This bag has some utensils, plastic, but a couple of them, you're not gonna be able to see. A couple of them are ultra temp, but they're blue. So that's kind of exciting. Let me see if I can pull one out now that I'm home. So ultra temp, it says it right on there. Most of the time, the ultra temp you'll see are like amber. They're like a clear amber. They go with the visionware cookware. And they're designed to be used in very high temperatures. So I think I have some white. I've seen black, and green. And this actually, I saw a viewer, a friend of mine, found black, right, Mitzi? And we talked about the fact that we'd only seen certain colors, and then right after that, we found these blue ones. So that is exciting. I think there's 2 pieces of the Ultra Temp in there. And the Ultra Temp does pretty well. Okay, so I showed you, then flatware there. I had already showed you the pine cone one in the beginning part of this video. So in that bag were some knives. Okay, this is open already, so I can pull it out. They're just very sleek looking knives, and they're just marked stainless steel Japan. So then I was looking at the other flatware and I found some more of that pattern. So since I figured I already had the knives, I would pick up some more forks and spoons and be able to put them together in a lot that would help sell those knives. And then another thrift store flatware that we found, I think this just is, who makes this? Was this Reed and Barton? Now I can't see it. Anyway, it's just that classic look, colonial kind of style. It's a bunch of spoons. And there was a few Oneida community, I think the pattern's like Venetia or something like that. Anyway, some serving pieces. And then Mr. Pishbash, I noticed this, he had grabbed this little, it looks like a garnish tool or something, but it's by Gerber, made in Germany. So yes, Germany. So I'm seeing for the first time. Okay, so we've come down to it. Drum roll. So I was standing there at Goodwill and looking at dishes. And behind me were the mugs, and Mr. Pishwash was starting to look through the mugs, and my son, my 13-year-old, was over there, and all of a sudden I hear him say, I like these kind of mugs, these blue glass mugs, and I like whipped around so fast, and all the mugs are upside down at that thrift store. So I see cobalt blue, right, bottom, and I run over there and I pick one up, and sure enough, because as I'm picking it up, right, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be faded, it's going to be faded. As we're picking them up, I'm like, no, they are in really good condition, okay? And so I am so excited. Do you guys know what these are? These are by Libby. The pattern is called Celestial. And I'm going to stop here and try to do with them now. Or I'll go, ah! Anyway, so the pattern is called Celestial. I have found and sold like some of the taller tumblers before, if you guys remember that, but the mugs are really sought after. I looked up really quick in the store just to show Mr. Pishposh because he was like, okay. And these are like $50 a piece to $60. And the reason they're so popular is that they were featured in the TV show Friends. So they're very 90s, very, very 90s. And so they are sought after as people are looking for that, their 90s nostalgia, memorabilia, and such. Okay, I think I covered it all. Nothing else. Okay, so I will let you guys go, and I will see you later on with a couple videos, most likely later on this week. So hopefully you guys had a good sourcing week. I know I've been kind of quiet lately, but life has been busy. So I will talk to you guys soon.